and go.
Okay, evening everybody. So it's curry time. We haven't done a curry, so this is going to be quite exciting. I do this quite regularly because the kids quite like it. It's not a very spicy curry, as you would imagine. It's quite simple really, but let's just quickly go through the ingredients. So we're going to start off by slowly cooking down some onions. We're going to have a little bit of spice with those. Then we're going to put in the peppers, and we're going to put in the tomatoes, 2 tins of tomatoes. One thing I would say about this dish is that it's difficult to cook a small amount. So the best thing is to cook a larger amount and then eat it the next day. It's amazing the next day or whatever, you can freeze it, stuff like that. So we're then going to have some tomatoes. I'm going to cook the chicken separate and then put that in towards the latter half of the cooking, which isn't the way other people do it, but I do it that way. I'm going to have some coriander, and then the last bit I'm going to add in some yogurt, some mango chutney, so that sweetens it up, and then some double cream. This here is a tikka masala mix. Go and buy one in the supermarket. You don't have to make one. I have made one because my darling wife managed to omit it from the shopping list, but you know, I'm not going to mention that. So I've just whipped this up. It just look it up. It's a few herbs and spices and stuff. I'm going to serve it incidentally with basmati rice, king of rices, and I've bought these couple of tandoori naans, and I'm going to show you how we can kind of zhuzhy those up a little and make them extra special and nice. So let's get going. Okay, so I have taken my 2 onions and I've sliced them nice and thinly. You'll see they're kind of about that thickness. I don't want them into little pieces because these I want to be almost, when they cook down, I want them to be long and thin and sinuous, and about exactly the same I've done with these peppers. You don't have to use different coloured peppers. They were the 2 coloured peppers that I have. I'm going to put those in a pan. I'm going to fry them down. These are going to go cook for about 7 minutes in some oil, and I'm just going to put some mild curry powder, just a couple of tablespoons over it. And the reason I've done that in the onions is because this powder, the curry powder, actually cooks a little bit with the onions, and they just get a lovely sweet beautiful taste. After about 7 minutes, I'm then going to put the peppers in, and then we'll come back and I'll show you exactly where I am. Okay, so just want to quickly show you what I mean by like lovely onions. These have been about 6 minutes. You can see they're falling apart, they're soft, they're lovely, they smell amazing. I've had some curry powder in there, so they've kind of broken down. And what I'm now going to do is I'm going to add 2 things. I'm going to add my peppers, okay, but I'm also going to add my tikka paste, okay. And the reason for that is that this paste is kind of quite raw still, and it needs to cook through. So I'm going to cook that for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm going to add the tomatoes in. One thing as well, just the last little point, is that I have, you'll see that I'm cooking this in as big and wide a pot as possible. So if you've got yourself a wok, then use that. Use your biggest frying pan, because basically it's just quite a large amount that you're going to end up cooking for, and the more that you can cook, then you don't have to cook 2 meals. You can cook 2 meals in one go here. So I'll get this back on the stove, and then we can I'll show you the next stages. Okay, so what I've done is I have softened those onions and the peppers. I've put in my chopped tomatoes. I'm now just washing out the tins, and I'm going to put in just a half a tin of water. Now I'm putting this back on the stove. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sit for about 8 to 10 minutes, just getting soft and etc. I'm going to cook I'm now going to do the chicken. I'm going to show you how I do the chicken and then add that in towards the end. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly talk about basmati rice. When you buy it like this, it needs washed. If you don't wash it, it will go all gloopy. Okay, so to cook it properly, you must wash it. And what you do is put it in a pan, okay, put some water in it and stir it around until all the water runs clear, okay. Don't wash it down the sink, but just put a small amount of water running in it all the time. Move it around, and it will go cloudy, 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 and then eventually will clear. When it's clear like this, then it's ready to cook. Put in just over half of the amount of water that you've got rice, and add some salt, okay, mix it up. This is cold water, and I'm now going to put this in on the stove, and I'm going to cook it for about 12-14 minutes, and then we'll see it hopefully be all nice and fluffy.
Go.
Okay, so what I've done with the chicken breasts is I've taken them, I had very big chicken breasts, and I've just taken them down, some of them, so they're a bit thinner, and what I've done is I've fried them in some butter. But what I've done is, and the trick here is that you only want to make sure they're really nice and brown on the outside, but only just cooked. Okay, you can see here it's actually not quite cooked through. Don't worry about that, because we're going to put these into the masala sauce for a good few minutes, and that's going to cook everything through. But this is the way that you avoid having kind of very horrible chewy chicken, is that you fry it and then you just at the last minute cook it through for the last 5 minutes in the actual sauce. The other thing I've done, which I need to put in the oven now, is I've got some I've just bought these as a packet, as you see. I've done a couple of things just to make them a little bit nicer. What I've done is I've put a little bit of water on them. That's very important, because they need to have that to start with. Then I've put some butter over the top. Then I've put the bottom of the coriander. I've just chopped the stalks and I've put all that all over it. Then I've put some salt, and then the last thing is a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to stick these in an oven at about 150 for probably about 8 to 10 minutes, and just to kind of, they'll certainly be warm through, but try and get them a little bit crisp. So I'm going to put some bits together with the curry now, and then we're not far off ready and finished. Right, so as you can see, this has now been cooking down, and it's all just lovely and kind of gloopy and what have you. I'm going to put this chicken in, and you'll see, as I said, some of this chicken is not cooked through yet, and that's why you want it. That's absolutely fine, because you're going to put it in this sauce, and the sauce is going to finish off cooking it. So don't get really freaked. That, you know, do not overcook your chicken. I know everyone, you have to be careful, but you want it cooked. But in this dish, you don't have to worry too much about it. So I've got all that, okay, and I'm just pushing this through it. And what I'm now going to do is, very simply, I'm going to put, this is double cream, okay, and I'm going to put in about half this tub. Glub, 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 glub.
How much is the tub?
Yeah, this tub's 300 ml, so 150 ml of that. This is a big tub of yogurt, about the same of yogurt. Let me just quickly mix that up a little bit. So
how much is in the tub?
I'm going to put about 150 ml of that as well. Okay. Lovely. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put, this is mango chutney, you see, just a tub of. You want about 2 tablespoons, okay? Now, that's what gives this its lovely sweetness. So masala is a very sweet type dish, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix all of this in together, and you'll see that you'll get this wonderful kind of chicken masala colour. I'm going to put this on the hob for probably about maybe 5 minutes or so, just to warm through. I will check that the chicken's all done, and then I'm going to sprinkle the coriander on the top, and then I'll show you all the other bits, including the rice, and it's all pretty much ready to go. There you go. Okay, so here we are. So that's been another 7 minutes. All the chicken's fully cooked through. I've tasted it. It's absolutely yum, yum, yum. Just to show you on the left hand side here, I've got these naans, which, as I said, these are great. I just slice them up into slices, and then people can dip them in as well. So we've got the curry itself. Then we've got the naans, and then over here we've got this rice. And as you can see, I haven't done anything at all with this, but because I washed it, it's all lovely and fluffy. So there you go. Chicken tikka, rice and a naan, and then we can put coriander over that as people want. Beautiful, and one of my favourite meals of all time. Nice, huh?